Now, day two of the Royal Bafokeng Junior NBA Finals is underway this morning in Phokeng. Former NBA stars Mahinmi and South Africa's very own Thabo Sefolosha will be watching on as primary and secondary school pupils from the area compete to be crowned champions. Our reporter Hloni Mtimkulu is at the Royal Bafokeng Stadium and she joins us now again for a quick chat. Good morning once again, Hloni. So you did speak earlier on to Frank Frank Traore, who was of course talking about how there is a pathway for these kids that are at the Royal Bafokeng Stadium to get to the high levels of the NBA. That it's difficult and you'd obviously need a bit of luck, but that it is possible because of course of the NBA Academy, of what NBA is doing in Africa. So it's not a matter of, you'll be hoping that someone somewhere in America is going to cast an eye to Africa. There is a pipeline, that these kids can go through, and with the passion that we are seeing in the Royal Bafokeng area, of course, there is a possibility that one of those kids might someday be playing in the very league that LeBron James is in. I mean, what are we hearing from the NBA Academy?
So, Marana, earlier when we spoke to you and Frank, matches hadn't gotten underway, but the first match, which is the under-14 final, is now underway. And I'm just going to step out of touch just for a moment so you can see that the girls from Tlapa and Filigwe are now playing, and I think it is the second quarter now. So the match is underway. There is a big turnout here. As we said earlier, that this is a very big event for this community of Phokeng, and not just the Phokeng, but just the surrounding areas as well. So there is a lot of excitement here. If I estimate how many people here, there are a few hundred people here. We've got 3 full stands, so it's definitely a good day of festivities and of celebrating basketball in this community. We said it is 118 teams and it's now down to the 12 that will be taking part here. 44 schools and more than 100,000 children have been reached in the 12 years that this program has been running since 2011. Now, someone who knows about it, who started off here or who is part of the academy, or who was found by the academy, is Elri Liebenberg. She was a netball player and is now a basketball player. So only picking up basketball, you said, in the 11th grade, right? So just tell us about that journey. How did you kind of switch from netball to basketball?
Well, funny thing is, I didn't know what basketball was. It wasn't until Frank saw me in Rustenburg Mall where he said, "Do you play basketball?" And I was like, "What is basketball?" And that's where the journey kind of started. He started developing me, the coaches here, Kolokano, Coach Junior, Tsepo, everybody worked with me, and that's how I then fell in love with the game of basketball.
And just from your own experiences, how important is it for kids around here to just be given that opportunity to play basketball, to be introduced and to play basketball?
Well, I think it's very important because here in Africa, we don't always get the opportunities as little kids. Whereas, for instance, in the U.S., they start playing when they're 8. So this is really great that the program has grown so much that we can even give primary school kids that opportunity to start young and start developing and grow.
So you started around 11th grade, which is what, 17, 18, 16 maybe, right? And you then were able to go to the US and you got an opportunity to play and to study there, I think it is. Just tell us about that.
Yes, so I was invited to Basketball Without Borders Africa when I was 12th grade, and there I got the opportunity to meet great people, and they offered me a scholarship to go to the US, to DePaul College.
Now, we see this big turnout here. I'm not sure I was expecting this turnout, but just in terms of the interest, you do everything around here. Just what has the interest been like from the community, and just even, I guess, from the continent as well, because I know that we have players that are here from Senegal as well, right?
Yes, that's correct. We have our NBA Academy team here. So they're based in Senegal, but they are from all over the continent. And we actually have a South Africa in that team as well. So the turnout here is tremendous. I mean, we took the whole week, we did road shows. So we took the US Dunk Squad and we went to schools and, we got them hyped up for this event. But it's amazing to see, all these kids showing up for basketball, because 10 years ago, it wasn't that big, because soccer is big. But now it's amazing to see the community come together and enjoy the game.
Okay, lovely, thank you. So Elri, right, Morana, that was Elri Liebenberg, who, a former netball player, has transitioned to basketball, gave her an opportunity to study abroad. She's been involved with this program. We're going to try and see if we can get some of the shots of the spectators, just so you can see a little bit of the people that are around here, and you can see just how excited people are to be here. I think you've probably heard some of that during during our interview with Ari, but there's a big turnout here and there's a lot of interest. As we said, more than 100,000 children have been reached. This program runs 118 teams, which is now down to 112. It is 6 boys teams and 6 girls teams that will be competing today. The under 14 final is currently on, and there will be more, the under 16 and the under 18 throughout the day.
When do we expect everything to wrap up, Hloni? Of course, because I would imagine that the star guests, of course, Mahinmi as well as Sefolosha, are looking in anticipation to the real show at the end, I would imagine, which will be coming towards the end of the day. So when are we expecting all the festivities to wrap up?
So it's an all-day event actually. Proceedings meant to start at 8 o'clock. The last final is meant to get going at 3. Is it 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock? So there are 6 finals, or 6 times 2 finals, and so the boys and the girls, and those are meant to go for about an hour each, and then there will be a break, I think at around 12 o'clock, which I presume is a bit of a lunch break, and then festivities then continue. So all day, but as we said, Ian Mahinmi, we expect him to be there, an NBA champion. We expect also Thabo Sefolosha to be here as well. We've seen Basketball Without Borders and their involvement in terms of Frank Traore. We've also seen with Ari Liebenberg as well. So we expect that there'll be some people who played in the US who might be able to talk to these players that are here just about their experiences as well. Just to say, this is how we've been playing basketball, how we got to where we are, what you can possibly do to get yourself there. And even if you don't get there, as Ari says, it gave her an opportunity to study abroad and to play her basketball abroad for a little bit. So even that is an opportunity on its own. Because as Frank did tell us earlier, it really takes a lot to get there, and everyone is trying to get to the NBA, but of course there only a few can get there, so there are other opportunities as well.
Most definitely, so there are other opportunities. The important thing here is that the pipeline has been created. It is sitting about 11 years strong. It started in 2011, and of course it is involving hundreds of thousands of children, about 118 teams that are involved in this. Hloni, we'll leave it there with you. We're going to be catching up, of course, with you once again a little later on. That is our reporter, Hloni Mtimkulu, is out in Phokeng in the northwest. Of course, this is at the Royal Bafokeng Junior NBA, and of course, event that is involving primary and secondary children.